Hey everybody, welcome to Illo Talk. I am Cory Kerr, and today we are going to take some of these reference photos that I took on a recent trip of Banff, Canada, which might be one of the most beautiful places on Earth. There's me. There's a couple cool looking mountains, some trees, and like this weird turquoise water. It's just amazing. Anyway, we're going to take that, and I've kind of sketched this out over here by way of kind of inspiration. So this isn't any particular place, but I was using kind of these photos to kind of grab different places in these sketches. Like I did before, if you saw yesterday's video. If you haven't, you can go watch me fail at a painting. I'm learning to paint, so you can kind of see what's going on here by kind of watching me do this. And I am going to try to do this in under an hour. And the thing that I'm going to do today is I'm trying to do only brushes that I already know. And so I'm going to use this ink triangle, and that might be it. I might go into some that have a few more bits and bobs. I did use I did use his Kyle Webster's creamy variant in his paint box and his mega pack to mix these colors. So I sampled the local colors, except for this orange. I sampled the local colors from these photos, and then I mixed those with each other to give us that color palette. If you want to see how to do that, you can watch yesterday's video. So got the sketch and my palette ready to go. I'm going to lock these layers down so that I don't actually paint on the wrong layer. Let's put all of these in a group here, and we'll just call this sketch. Okay, I've also got a layer here that is a color fill layer, which I'm going to name BW, because if I turn that on, I've got it on hue blending, and so that gives me my grayscale. You can see that over in my warmer tones over on the right, that I don't have much, that I don't have a lot of variation in those grays. And so those values, so the reds are mainly going to be contrasting based off of hue, which, you know, normally you don't want, but I'm actually going to use the reds as accents in the mountains, and so I don't want a lot of contrast because I want those pushed into the background. But you can see a pretty good value contrast range with the rest of these colors, including the main, which is going to be in the water right here. And so we've got some pretty good value contrast there. So I'm going to go sky, water, mountains, trees, and then anything I want to pull out of those mountains and accents. Also, this might be boats or whatever, because I got that. So anyway, so that's what I'm going to do, and let's get started. Let's see. Start the timer. So 3-minute introduction. So I'd like to be done an hour and 3 minutes. Okay, so let's start off with mountains. And let's get a big fat brush here. Let's go up quite a bit. Okay, and what I like about this brush is it's mostly opaque. And so I can come in here, and if I want a thinner line, I can just touch lighter. If I want a thicker line. So very comfortable with this. I normally draw with it at a much smaller size. I don't like how it gives me this little tail end sometimes, and so sometimes I will kind of jump into, let's get rid of this. Sometimes I will jump into one of these other ones, like his thick to thin is pretty good. His clean comics is okay. So I might, what if we start to jump in with this thick to thin? I don't know if I have that one here. Let's see. Kyle's Everything brush. That might be good at a bigger size. Let's see where we're at here. I actually kind of like the edge of that a little bit, so maybe we'll go with that one. I've used this one plenty. That's a nice kind of painterly edge. It looks like it bleeds a little bit as we go. Let's see how it mixes color. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Okay, cool. Zoom fit. And let's delete everything there. I'm going to put this, let's get rid of this. And let's make a copy of this. Let's lower this down. I'm going to put it in my, I'll put it in drawing inking. And we'll go new, and we'll go everything brush. Okay, so there's that. Cool. Okay, let's make it bigger. And I do want to get my sketches. It'll just take me a minute to get set up. So I'm going to color under these sketches, which means I'm going to make this be multiply. And I can still see. Great. All right, so, but that mutes my colors, so let's get the colors out of that layer. There we go. All right, cool. Okay. Taking too long to set up here. I will get faster at this. I'm not sure if I'm going to do this every day, but I am going to do it until I get a lot more comfortable. That's locked. Mountains. Okay, so let's start by roughing in just some basic neutral gray or neutrals here. Maybe I don't like this brush as much. I'm going to do that for texture. So let's go back here and let's grab our inking triangle. Yeah, all right. So this is a lot more comfortable for me compared to what I was doing yesterday because I do this a lot. I guess what I'm trying to do is I'm mainly trying to get more comfortable with lineless artwork. I think I rely pretty heavily on inked lines, and so I'm trying to see if I can get away from that a little bit. So we've got these kind of mountain shapes. I like starting with a local color, the basic base color, the mid-tone value, and then coming in after the fact and doing the highlights and shadows. So let's see here. Okay, and then we're gonna do this. So I'm gonna pixel lock that. That way I can't color outside of that. And I'm gonna color in my white kind of snow layer here. And I'm going for kind of an impressionistic vibe, so I'm going to fight my normal instincts to be very perfectionist with this. I would normally be really clear about carving all this out and making sure that I color within the lines and all that jazz. And I am not going to do that this time because I'm going impressionistic. So these are just my impressions. So paint in those trees and that mountain a little bit later. I'm going to shrink my brush down just a little bit. Gotta get some of this in there. Okay, and then where was my intention on the snow over here? So that's going to be darker. This is going to be cloud. That's trees. I think I wanted this to be snow. Cool. Okay, so we might make, let's go back here. Let's do some darker values along these edges. And I'll probably come in and do a little bit darker even still. One of the things I love about this antique is that like alcohol marker tip sound that you get when you scribble. That is fun. Reminds me of the days of doing this. Traditionally, I never really painted traditionally, but I have inked quite a bit. Okay. Gonna rough some of that in. I want really high contrast along this edge. This is going to be a brighter cloud, so I'm putting the darker bits in the mountain kind of along that edge to give us some differentiation. I think I'm going to want some snow and little bits of this to kind of accentuate those edges. Let's get some of that. Okay, so let's go in and let's get our darkest darks, as if these are all kind of like crevices casting shadows here. And trying not to do too much detail, I'm going to come in and rough some of this up a little bit later. And get some trees to put over the top of this. So I'm just trying to imagine the shapes and where the shadows would be cast. And I haven't really defined them super well in the sketch, so I find that a little bit difficult. I do think that might be a little darker than I want to do. This might be a little bit too blue, so do I like that a little bit better? Yeah. I'm going to kind of just rough that out a little bit with this kind of in-between color. And we'll just leave the darkest bits just barely there. So they're not these huge swaths of color. I don't want it to distract too much. Little ridge there. And let's kind of come in here and add a little fall line at the cliff. Okay. All right, that's okay. Let's come in and do some snow back on the tops here. Some of these little platforms can have some snow in them. And snow kind of gathers, so we'll have that kind of gather. All right, let's do this other side. So this is going to be the darkest, which we decided wasn't the darkest. Pretty sure, yep. Pretty sure that's what we wanted, so we'll come in here like this. Just going to follow that up a little bit. We'll come in with kind of the rougher spots along this edge. Come down and carve this out. Not exactly sure what I intended when I sketched some of these, so I'm just going to guess that we're looking at darker bits of those mountains. That's going to be trees. I'm going to make that lighter, so we'll come in here with some darker edges just to give us a bit of a vignette. I want the darkest bits to be kind of on the sides to help us kind of be led into the painting. So that's okay. Let's Color in some of the lighter bits here. That kind of darker mid-tone value. Just to kind of accentuate some of the depth here and make it not so two-dimensional. I really want this to look more like a painting and less like a screen print, I guess. Hey, it's Jim Lujan. What is happening, my man? It is very cool to see you on my live show while I'm live. Now, the real question, Jim, is, are you driving? That's... Jim Lujan is known for recklessly texting and driving. He's killed several people, but he's been acquitted each time. Okay, there we go. Let's cut into this a little bit. I've been told, he says, no, he is stationary. I've been told that people don't quite catch when I'm being sarcastic, so just in case anybody starts to hate Jim Lujan, make sure you hate him for valid reasons, of which there are many, but not for killing people with automobiles. He's killed people in many other ways. All right, so that's looking okay. This is kind of a big bland spot here, so let's check out our reference, and let's steal some of these shapes. Oh yeah, I could get some kind of horizontals cut into this, so I think I'm going to do that. So let's come across here and we'll go with some horizontal lines. Make sure they jog each time the surface changes. And we'll come across the top here. Give ourselves a few like that, and then those would continue across some of these. Okay, now we'll need some darker colors to accompany our horizontal lines to paint some of the snow back in. This is going to be a big giant crevice. Another edge here. I just found out you can stream live to Instagram. I know nothing about that, but maybe I should be doing live streaming to Instagram. I have kind of abandoned Instagram. I don't know. But I still have a lot of people that follow me on there, so it's probably not a bad idea to check that out. But yeah, I did see that notification, but I forgot about it immediately, obviously, and I haven't checked it out. But I like the idea of streaming to Instagram. So I'm going to keep following these ridges here. And let's get some more striation horizontally. I'm trying to be kind of chunky with that. Maybe I'll do some blending or something with that later. Let's come in with our snow and cut into some of these a little bit. Little snow patches that are kind of building up on the sides. Yeah, let's have little bits of snow along. Is that going to be, no, that's going to be a lighter part of that cloud, so keep that snow just inside of that. And we have a snow patch right across here, right across that ledge, and it spills into the trees. Okay, let's see what it looks like without sketches. Let's see how we're doing. Grayscales, looking okay. I sound like a man that enjoys a good home-crafted sauna. You are correct, sir. We have saunaed as recently as last night, and we'll be doing it again tonight. Part of that is because I really enjoy saunas. The other part of that is because it is going to be -10, and our furnace went out. So we have no heat in the home outside of the occasional space heater. So that might be a little bit dark for my taste. So I'm gonna kind of, I don't like that at all. So I kind of want this. Maybe that's fine. Okay, so let's get some, let me look at some snow here. Okay, so we've got kind of large swaths of like an edge. So I'm seeing this edge along here and then some striations that are coming across. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to carve out an edge like this and have it come across. And we'll fill in this whole area. And then let's come in and let's have some, and I'm going to shrink this down a bit and let's give ourselves just some kind of thick, thin lines that are kind of giving us that little bit that's kind of coming across. I'm going to say that there's more of a shelf right up here. And then let's come down this side and color that in. Okay, and then we'll come across up the top here like this. Let's come in with some shadows. That's looking a little bit more snow-like, I suppose. It's insane. Too cold, ice, ice baby. In the house, we're pretty much settlers. In the house, we have space heaters because we have access to hardware stores and Walmart and things. So we're not, it's not quite handcart company just yet. But we are very cold. And they were supposed to install the new furnace on, Friday, and it is lost in shipping. So we get to spend the whole weekend not heated by a brand new furnace that I paid for. And, pretty excited about that. I love paying for things that I didn't plan on paying for and then not having them show up when we need them. It's actually one of my favorite things. So, but the space heaters are pretty good. I'm actually pretty warm right now. I've got one of those oil-based radiator space heaters, and it's pretty rad. Okay, let's see if we can find another bit of snow. Ooh, a lot of that is actually dirt. There's some snow there. It's just gravel rock slide. Bits of snow. Kind of tips. Let's do tips over here. So I'm going to come in and grab this whole thing so that I can just carve things out. And I'm just going to carve out just peaks. And let's fill this in. And let's come up here, give ourselves a bit of a ridge, I mean. And once again, I fall into the trap of using too small of a brush. I'm getting too detailed already. I'm trying to make this impressionistic, and it's coming out very much not that way. But I never claimed to be good at this. So actually, I am terrible, which is why I'm doing it. I would like to not be terrible. What is your goal? Less terrible. So Jim, are you off today? What are you up to? What is going on? What are the haps? What am I missing out on? Okay. I'm gonna call that good. I might come in a little bit later and add some texture. These are way less blue than I'd like. So I might do a little wash of wash of blue. But let's come up back over here and let's turn our sketch layer back on. And let's rough in some trees. For the sake of this, I'm going to do trees in a different layer. And those are fairly dark with little bits of lighter. So I think I'm going to start darker. And we'll get the whole tree line in here. And I'll come in and do some spikes of the top of the trees in a minute. Foliage, as this say. And let's come down this edge. We will not deal with that rock right now. Let's deal with that rock later. Give ourselves a water line. I'm going to go a little bit higher than that. Oh, I kind of want... yeah, let's go lower. I'm going to move that kayaker higher, I think. I wanted to break up that silhouette. So, color. There we go. Here's our trees. All done with the trees, huh? Working on the film at the coffee shop. Yes. Good stuff. Jim is doing a animated short. No, Jim is doing an animated feature film. Sorry about that. Total feature film. Be impressed. Okay, so I want to kind of break into little bits and bobs. Let's get rid of our sketch layer again. I want this to look like trees. So I'm going to come in and kind of... Now there is probably a brush to do this, but again, I don't know what it is, and today's rule is that we are not using anything that I'm unfamiliar with. So I'm going to stick with the brushes I know and not go chasing waterfalls. All right, that's good enough. Good enough for the girls I go with, as my grandpa would say. And my grandma was fine with that. All right, here, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Some tree lines there. Okay, so now let's rough in some. Okay, let's go a bit darker and browner, and let's give ourselves some. Is that even showing up? Not really. So, and that's 2. What if I come in here? Yeah, okay. We'll go there and we'll give ourselves some shadow here. I'm going to go bigger. Way bigger. Okay, we'll come in just with some large areas of shadow. And those seem to happen in little clumps. So I'm going to deal with the edges of those in a minute. And let's see how we're doing on grayscale. That is almost invisible. Look at this. So this is one of the things that's nice about checking that. So you and I are seeing kind of a blue and green difference. And then when I go grayscale, those are exactly the same value. So I'm not going to get a lot out of those shadows, which is fine. But I am going to try to get something out of the highlights. So if I come here like that, how much value contrast? There's a good chunk there. Okay. Okay, so let's make our brush a little bit smaller, and we will come in with kind of that right side of a lot of these trees. Kind of define the edges of those, and then Let's come in with some squiggles, and I'm going to come in with, do we have big areas of highlight? Yeah, a little bit, and then they're kind of broken up. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of try to get a pattern, a scribbly kind of cutting into the tree line here. And I think we're at the good spot where we can, oops, let's pixel lock here. There. So now I can't scribble outside of where there are already pixels on that layer. Come on the top here, kind of cut into this. And then kind of go more into shadow. Okay, now let's break that up with some darker stuff. It's not too dark. Not sure I like it that dark. What do we, well, yeah, that's probably fine. I'm just going to fill in this whole bit down at the bottom because I want a pretty significant value contrast along the edge of the water. So and let's do my favorite thing and zoom out and see if that looks like trees. Yep, looks like trees. Okay, little scribbly trees. Well, that's fine. We're scribbly today. Kind of come in a little bit. This brush is probably a little too big. Give ourselves some this is where I'm kind of tempted to like texture this up with a brush just for fun. I'm going to break a rule. Let's see if putting a big giant, give me some speckle or splatter. It almost feels like cheating. That's fine, and then let's kind of cover that up a little bit. And then kind of pepper little bits of... Cool, okay. Let's get out of that. And go back to where we were before. Big giant brushes, cool. Okay, so those are the trees. I'm gonna add in little bits here of kind of groupings. So it's not so, I'm trying to break up the pattern a little bit. Just so the concept brush is a little less recognizable. Okay. Cool. Okay, trees. All right, so let's turn our sketch layer back on. And we've got some water to do. So I might tackle the water last, but for right now, let's just put a water layer on here. And this will be easy because we are going to fill it all in one color and then deal with the repercussions of that. Okay, so give me, boom. That seems weird, but I'm not exaggerating. Banff is crazy like that. Okay, so I'm going to come in and do all these in a minute. I wonder if there's a way I could cheat that. But right now, let's do some clouds. Oh, I need the sky. So let's go sky. And the sky is this kind of weird blue, but it's a different weird blue. So kind of block in the sky there. It's kind of over my vision, so I don't want it to hit the edges. Let's just come in maybe a little bit more. Okay. And be sky colored. Cool. Okay, so we got kind of that blue sky there. We've got mostly clouds. There's the blue. There's the blue. This is mostly stormy, and that's a little bit desaturated. I wonder if I want more desaturated. Let's see what it looks like if I go down here. I kind of like that a little bit better. Okay. Cool. So now clouds. Clouds. And let us start with the brightest. Very visible. So let's see, like this, and then this. Can that be our, or do we have to go as dark as that? I might have to go grayer. Let's see. What if I painted in a little bit of that? Ugh, don't like that. What if we're here? What if we're just here, but darker? Do they get that gray? I mean, that's pretty gray. Where are we at? 62% black. Okay, so I might add. Let's mix another color in here. I'm gonna add this to our color palette. So let's unlock that. And you guys will get to see me mix. So let's come in here and let's search for our creamy variant. And I'm going to go off of this dark blue mixed with this white. So I'm just going to come in. And I'm on the wrong layer. Okay, here we go. It's going to come in and lightly paint. Okay, so that's that, and then that's pretty good, and that's pretty close to what we sampled since we're at 61. So I'm going to call that our extra color. Okay, so let's go back to the clouds and delete everything, and let's start with our brightest and go back to a brush. Okay, and so it'll come in here on the side. I'm kind of intentionally, this is one of the things I like about Wacom Cintiqs versus the iPad is iPad is a battery operated stylus, and so you have an issue when you are doing line work, especially diagonal lines. You've got to decide if you want smoothing or if you're comfortable with the shake that the stylus adds. And like something like I'm doing right now, if you look really closely, I am intentionally wobbling and shaking my hand to get an erratic edge there. And I like the edge that I intend, not the edge that gets smoothed out by the computer. I don't trust those computers. They frustrate me. Jim is asking, is Artcasters episode 400 this Thursday? It is. I think it was supposed to be last Thursday, and we had a couple issues getting some guests and things, and so I believe it is now this Thursday coming. So I wonder, should I do the darkest? I might, I'm going to do this. I'm going to come in And let's start with our darkest, and let's see if we need the midtone. We might need the midtone. But I'm going to come in here. Let's fill all that in. And we'll come back over here. I'm pulling kind of a little bit of what I stole from Magnola, where he just, whatever's behind something is the opposite value of that thing. And so if you've got a bright thing, then you put a dark thing behind it. And nobody seems to care too much that a lot of his backgrounds don't make a lot of sense as far as like what actually happens in reality, because you can kind of see everything, which is kind of nice. And so there's that. Now over here, I'm intentionally having kind of a darker midtone on darker value because, again, I'm going for that vignette over there. So this is a little bit more. And then I see this lighter value. I'm going to come up with some darker kind of parts of the thing to kind of help define that. And I do think we probably need a midtone. So let's come in. Let's get rid of our sketch layer here. And I'm going to add another layer in between. And we'll make this. Let's see how that looks. I don't know, man. That's basically the color of sky. Let's mix another color. So let's go back to our creamy mixing brush here. Let's grab this black. And we've got our darker value. I'm just going to go even lighter than that. Always helps to do that on the correct layer. So I'm going for, man, that gets dark pretty quick. Kind of a mid-tone value. That'll work. Got enough contrast here and a little bit of contrast there. All right, cool. Go back to our cloud here. How are we doing on time? 42 minutes. So we're about 39 minutes into this painting. I haven't got to the part that I'm terrible at yet. So we'll see how that goes when I get to the water. But we've got our mid-tone value right here. We'll just kind of have some of these areas of shadow right along. It seems like right along the edge of the cloud is where it gets the brightest. And so I'm going to leave that top edge alone. But I kind of want to accentuate that to make it look like it's backlit a little bit. Do-do-do-do-do. There we go. Okay, so it's kind of rough. Kind of rough, guys. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of this large blocky area. It's a little bit more mottled than I'm showing, so I'm going to come back in on this one. Let's pixel lock that. And let's add in some, now we're starting to look a little bit more. Yeah, I don't like that at all. I might come back to that and texture it a little bit with the textured brush, but not right now. Not right now, he said, and then started to do it anyway. Yeah. Textured brush later. Let's get in the big blocky parts first. Okay, do we want any more clouds on this? I don't have any in my sketch, so that is a no for right now. All right, I'll zoom out. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't like that. I might just, let's get off of contiguous. And let us, what if we lighten this up just a little bit? How's that? It's a little bit more palatable as a cloud. Okay, so we'll figure that out. Okay, sketch again. I think we've got some clouds in front of some of these as fog. Yep. So I'm going to go behind the trees, above the mountains. Over the hills we go. All right. And up, up, up in size. Give me liberty or death. Okay, so we'll come in here like this. Let's get our little cloud guy coming in here. Accentuate those trees, and let's get a little midtone value. Just to kind of reflect. Now it should be different enough from the snow, but maybe not. That's fine. Darker value, sure, why not? Let's get some of those in there, along the edge especially. We want to really encourage that vignette. Let's test our black and white. Let's test our black and white without the sketch. Okay, we're still good. All right, water. Sketch, come back. And this is where I'm wondering, so we've got all these different values. We've got all these different values of blue. Yeah, I think I'm just going to paint it in. So let's go to the water, which is up. And let's put one on top here. Alt-click to make that go there. And then let's come in with our brightest on the edge of this cloud. I'm going to just kind of hint at some of this stuff. And then let's go here. Still kind of bright, but not. So I'm trying to paint in kind of the mirror value of that right now. As it reflects from the water, so the kind of the reflection. So I will clean this up in a bit, but got some of that. And then I think this is just the main, that's just the watercolor. So I'll come in and do that in a minute, I guess. So if we want to go darker than that, we'll see that this is darker. We come in all throughout here and give our, carve our mountain in. Now are the trees are darker than the thing, so I'll come up, call all of that mountain. And the tree line dips here, so then we go back to more mountains. And we might even get a little bit darker here, but we'll see. So a little darker here as well. And then trees. Along that edge like that. Let's see what that looks like without the sketch. Ooh, not my favorite. Okay, so let's come in with, this is gonna be slightly brighter here, right? That's the snow kind of coming in, and then Slightly darker along this edge. We got some of those. How much are we actually getting? I mean, it's a pretty not detailed edge here, so I'm just going to kind of color most of this in, give ourselves maybe some ripples along the shore, little bits of highlight here and there. And there's kind of some concentric ripples. So I might just come in. We've got this guy in the boat. So maybe I'll come in and kind of, what are we doing here? That's going to be cloud. So kind of that's all cloud. This is going to be a little bit darker in spots as well. Those are some pretty significant value changes. I'm not sure if I like them that much, but we'll see. We get kind of this kind of moving away from the boat. Don't want to exaggerate that too much. But we do have some of that. All right. I don't know. We'll see. Let's do this guy. Let's do this guy. And we're going to go with kind of a, let's start in this kind of mottled orange boat. Oh, let's do this in a different layer. Oh, yeah, we'll go a little bit more. So I kind of want it to be temperature contrast, a little bit of hue contrast in there, but I don't want it to be drastic with what I'm doing as far as that. So we're just going to paint in a little bit of guy here. And his arms. Let's get rid of our sketch. Beesh, I don't know. Maybe, well, we might make that work. Okay, so then in the water, we're going to get a reflection of that. Kind of like this, with the dude and the arms, and then let's put a paddle in there. So do we kind of, nope, on this layer, paddle in the water. I'm going to come in a little bit and shade our friend here. And do we dare with a little bit of orange, a little bit of this bright, maybe, on the tip? Is that too much? Okay, let's cut into the water a bit with the ripples around this boat. We're going to kind of have them go back and then around the, I'm going to get some splashing around this paddle. kind of have a wake in the back here a little bit. Let's accentuate that some. Okay. We're looking all right there. Let's see. Now I want... What is this number 2? I feel like I painted this on accidentally. Yep. Okay, so you go away. Okay, come back here. Let's play with the sky, which now I'm kind of feeling like I might actually want that to be a different blue. So let's see if we can come in, and now let's play with some different brushes. You know what? I might paint this with a brush I've been mixing it with. Let's do that. Let's do our little creamy mixer brush. So let's make it big and splotchy. Yep. Okay. So let's see if we can cheat. I'm going to come across the top here. And I'm just going to add a texture layer. I'm going to make this blend with overlay. And then I think I'm just going to do grayscale. So let's come in with some grays along the top here. Might want a different brush, but let's see. Let's see what we got going on. Get the inverse of that. I might do this by layer. And then let's come in and try kind of our darker. I wonder if taking this down to like 30% flow. And let's drop our opacity on this layer a little bit. Yep, I like that, but only in the sky. Don't like how it looks in the clouds, so let's finish kind of, and let's change this a little bit up here, just to get us some mottled kind of sky. And then let's go very dark at the top. That's pretty good. Okay, so that's fine for that. And let's bring this under the, probably right above the cloud, under the clouds. Okay, so if I was doing my layers correctly, I could have had all these in groups, but I'm not. So there we go. Okay, let's do clouds. Now let's make a copy of this layer and throw it in the clouds. And let's lock that layer down and delete everything and paint some cloud texture. And I might come in a little bit and blur or smooth the edges a little bit if this doesn't work like I want. But so far, so good. Now the other nice thing about this is I've got pressure sensitivity on these brushes. So, fan of that. Okay, what is this? Oh, that's the other cloud layer. Fine. I could copy this and put it on top of that. And let's see if we just move it down. Nope. Okay, so delete. And that's fine. All right, whatever. I don't care. Speed painting, right? Oh, we're at an hour. Okay, I've got about 4 minutes. So let's see if I can finish this up in the next 4 minutes. Maybe smaller brush. There we go. That's a little bit better. Cool. Okay. Clouds. Okay, mountains. I want to go with a less. Actually, I'm gonna do the water now. So copy this and water. And on the water, that's a lot. Back up a little bit. Let's turn up the flow at the top here. I really want to wash this out quite a bit. I don't know if this brush is doing it for me here, so I don't want pencil. Are we not clicking anymore? What is happening? I like the Vortex paintbrush. I've used this in the past. So let's do a little bit of a. That gives us a green because we're blending. So can I get a little bit of the sky? Okay, let's go way bigger. And let's go black at the top. Nope, don't like that. Can I mix it with the green? That's a little bit better. Okay, I'm getting a little too much pattern here. So yeah, this will be good. This is gonna be a little crazy, but I'm gonna mix this up. Get myself some splotches. Let's come in with a different color, and then let's paint in our highlight here, just to really draw our attention to the center where we want everybody. Take the opacity down. And let's switch to a darker color. Let's go way darker. Okay. Now we got about 2 minutes, a minute and a half. Let's see what we want to do for these mountains. That could be fun. Okay, so let's come back over here. Give me texture and give me mountains. Where are you? Mountains, there we go. So come up here over the top of the mountains and blend down and go away, and let's get our that might be a little much. What are we still blending with multiply or with overlay? I wonder if we go multiply. That might be a little bit better. Oh, because it's hitting the snow as well. I might have to get that out of the snow. I don't know if I really like that color though. Can we come in? Oh, there we go. A little bit of orange in there. I'm not sure that this brush is the right brush, but I'm going to leave that. And because we're in a hurry, let's come down. Let's drop that quite a bit just to give us some of that texture. And then let us delete it from, so I don't want contiguous, I don't want all layers. Nope, mountains. Give me that snow. Just the snow. And delete. No. And delete. And give me this snow on the mountains. And delete. All right. That water's pretty terrible, but that's an hour. So let's take a look at it here. And here's our finished painting 1 hour sketch. Do a little bit more in the trees. I might play with this one a little bit more. But for an hour, I like it. It'll be something. I hate that kayak quite a bit. Actually, I hate it enough to fix it. So let's go in and mess with this kayak a little bit. Just a little bit here. Give me, it's probably in the water layer, right? That's annoying. This layer, water. There we go. Where are you, kayak? You are on your own. Okay. Kayak. And grab this and this. And be much more saturated. A little bit brighter. And less purple. There we go. Okay. I'm going to change that to be less saturated and a little bit brighter. That's a little bit better. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. All right, guys. Thanks for watching, everyone. And we will see you all, I don't know, whenever I choose to do this again. Go check out my stuff, CoryKerr.com. At some point in time, I should have like my little stinger loaded so you guys can watch that, because I'm sure everybody's very interested in watching that. But I will say that I am off to sauna, so I get a little bit warmer. Hopefully everybody enjoyed the painting, and if you've seen stuff that I've done in the past and you're interested in it, you can go check it out at CoryKerr.com. If you haven't seen stuff of mine, then go look at the things I make. This is not indicative of what I make, because I very mostly do a very different style of art, and so I am not doing that right now because I'm teaching myself how to do this stuff. And so go in and check that out. Check out the, why is that showing up? Oh, because this is on. Go in and check out CoryKerr.com to see the stuff that I'm good at instead of the stuff that I'm learning. And I'll catch you guys later. Bye.